Sathyabama Institute of Science and Technology.
Good morning to all. I am Ramalakshmi from IT department, Sathyabama Institute of Science and Technology. My topic is requirement engineering. So what is meant by requirement means requirement is the condition or it is a capability how to solve the problem and to get the target. This is called as an requirement. So in requirement engineering, analyzing is a very critical process. That's why we have to do as software requirement analysis consists of two types. What are they means functional requirement and non-functional requirement. So what is meant by functional requirement means functional requirement is when the end user behavior functionalities domain that is necessary to incorporate with the system, that is called as an functional requirement. And then what is the input, how it is processed, what is the expected output, this is called as an functional requirement. Non-functional requirement means how the various factors from one project to the another project, how it is implemented, this is called as a non-functional requirement. So non-functional requirement is called as the non-behavioral requirement. So in the non-behavioral requirement is consists of different factors are there. First one is called as an portability, second one is called as an scalability, usability, reusability and managing. So these are called as a non-functional requirement. Functional requirement means how the input and process expected output we get, that is called as an functional requirement. Non-functional requirement means these factors are included in the project. We will get the factor from one project to the another project. These are all it is used in the non-functional requirement. So what is the difference between the functional requirement and non-functional requirement means in the functional requirement when it is that is functional requirement is defined in the components, that is the system on its components, functional requirement. Non-functional requirement means it is defined by the attributes, quality attributes of the system. So second point is functional requirement. What this is functional requirement system software has to do. In the non-functional requirement, the system software or functional requirement, what are they? So that is the difference. Third one is functional requirement specified by the user, but non-functional requirement is specified by the technical peoples. So it is very mandatory, but it is not a non-functional requirement is not a mandatory. So it helps by the use case diagram. It is helped by the attributes, that is class diagram of the attributes. At the same time, functional requirement is useful, helps to use for component level, but it helps to use for overall system. At the same time, it is testing to verify the functional requirement. Functional requirement is verified the functional specification, but non-functional requirement is specifies the performance of the testing. So what is the functional testings are included means API testing, end-to-end testing. These are the functional testings. But non-functional testing, it is testing about the usability testing, what is the stress testing, what is the scalability testing. These are all testing is required by the non-functional requirements. It is easy to use. Functional requirement is easy to use. Non-functional requirement is difficult to use. Because of that, I am already told functional requirement is defined only by what is the input, how it is processed, what is the output. But in the non-functional requirement, what is that means? It is mainly varies the factors of one project to the another project, but the project must be the some factors level. What is the reusability, what is the portability, what is the scalability, how it is managed. These factors has to be followed by the non-functional requirement. Then functional requirement consists of different engineering process are there. So what is the functional requirement process? Main process is it is to identifying, eliciting, managing, specifying, validating and verification necessary for the system software, system of the software. Functional requirement consists of two requirements are there. One is the generally requirement engineering consists of two requirement, functional requirement and non-functional requirement. But in the functional requirement process consists of two requirements. One is called as the user requirement, another is called as the system requirement. So what is the user requirement? User requirement means generally it is set it by the end user. So end user means what is the domain is used. Based on the domain, you have to write the problem statement. That statement can be defined by the specifications. What are the requirements are that? Based on that requirement, you have to clarify the implementation. So that is called as a user requirement. System requirement means it is clearly about the program or the code. That is interaction between the system and interaction, that is interaction between the system and the user, or it is called as the software developers. So what is that means? It is fully about the implementations, how to write the code. That is called as the interaction between the system and the developer, is called as a system requirement. What is meant by requirement engineering? So requirement engineering is basically consists of some process. So what is that means? It is easily to analyze. It is easily to, but that is generally requirement engineering means analysis must be very difficult process. But you have to find the output for the system or the software means you are using some functional and non-functional requirement. But in the requirement engineering is consists of some process of there, identifying, analyzing or eliciting or to specifying the requirement or to verifying and validate the requirement. How to verify, specify and validate the requirement means verification is nothing but what the system has to do, or building the right product is called as an verification. Building the product as right is called as an validation. So these techniques are used in the software engineering process or software engineering. So then software engineering process consists of 4 types. One is called as a feasibility study, second is called as an requirement elicitation and analysis, third one is called as the software requirement specification, fourth one is called as the software requirement validations. So first one is deeply you want to discuss about the, this is the overall diagram for the requirement engineering process. So what are the step by step process for the requirement engineering analysis? First one is a feasibility study. So what is the feasibility study means? Feasibility study means you deeply learn about the implementations. That is, it is acceptable by the user. Basic knowledge and deep knowledge about the implementations, and then flexibility of the user, flexibility to change the requirement, at the same time comfortable to the system requirements. So these are called as an feasibility study. So basically when the project is given to the student means what they are doing means first they have to know about the what is the project specification, or how to know about the project problem statement. When the problem statement is well known means they have to implement easily. So when we are using the, based on the domain we are using the some implementation, that implementation is well known, it is flexible to the user means you have to throughout to get the output. That is the target of the output for the student. This is the example for that feasibility study. The feasibility study consists of 3 types. First one is called as an technical feasibility, second is called the operational feasibility, third one is called as the economic feasibility. So first one is the technical feasibility. Technical feasibility means new technologies are used by the user, end user. New technologies are used by the end user. Nowadays, new technology means, for example, we are using the some recent domains or the AI, or it is called as a deep learning, or it is called as the cloud computing. These are the recent trends of domains. At the same time, based on this domain, we are using the some new implementations called as an Python, Java, JavaScript or CSS. So these are called as an implementation languages. That is called as an new technologies are used by the user, is the technical feasibility. Second one, operational feasibility means what is the range and the limits of the software. Because of that 5000 lines of code means basically you well known and knowledge about that implementation means that easily to get the output. So that is called as an operational feasibility. Economic feasibility means what is the feasibility, what is the economic level, what is the budget of the project. So that is called as an economic feasibility. This is the diagram for the feasibility studies. That is the technical feasibility, marketing and financial. So based on the financial, we are using the some implementation languages, at the same time domain. So we want to get the target of the project, we want to get the exact output for the project, means we are using the new trending of the domain or new trending of the implementation has to be used. What is first one, feasibility study is finished. Second one is called as an elicitation. Elicitation means how to gather the information from the requirement. So elicitation means it is called as an what are the default or what are the errors or there, how to rectify the errors. So these are called as an elicitations. So elicitation consists of some analysis or there. What is that means? What is the analysis of elicitation means? The stakeholders know about what the project is, in-depth project. What is the in-depth of the project? Stakeholders must know about that, because the stakeholders are the financial budget persons. The developers has to develop the project has its own way, but the stakeholders has to know about what the concept the developer has to use. So the stakeholders are the important thing for the eliciting concept analysis. Then what stakeholders must know about that, the developers or the team leaders conduct the agenda of meeting, they will explain about the project. The stakeholders must be satisfied means they are continuing a project. If they are not satisfied means they will change the redefined or change the project. Second one, what is the elicitation requirements are there means interview, survey, focus groups, observation and prototyping. Generally interviews means in the elicitation analysis, interview means general interview, formal or informal meetings, or they are through phone calls they are conducting the meet reviews. So what there means, the stakeholders every time they ask about the how the project is done and what level of the project is completed. These are all conducted only by the interviews. Then survey is taken for focusing about the group for the project. Different groups are there, that is in one group they are having the some teams. So in that teams 5 or 20 persons are there, they will explain about the project to the stakeholders. When the stakeholders is satisfied means they are continuing the project. Then prototyping means, what is that means, the old version of the product must be developed by the new product is called as an prototyping. So what is the meaning about that means, domain already it is tell about that, that domain can be implemented by using the new trending languages, that is also called as an one of the prototyping. Then software requirement specification. So software requirement specification means, specifications is totally is called as an documentation. Purely it is a creating the documentation. How to create the documentation means, the documentation is consists of 3 methods are followed. One is called as an data flow diagram, second is the data dictionary, third one is called as the entity relationship. So data flow diagram means, what is that now, what is the flow of data in the project is called as an data flow diagram. Then data dictionary means how to store the data using the data flow diagram, how to store the data using the data flow diagram. Relationship consists of 3 types. What is that means, unary relationship, binary relationship and ternary relationship. Unary relationship means, what is that now, one entity can be related with the relation is called as an unary relationship. Binary relationship means, what is that means, one entity can be relationship with the another entity is called as an binary. Ternary means, what is that now, multiples of entities can be mingled with one thing is called as an ternary. So these are the requirement specifications. Then last one is called as a software requirement validations. So validation is nothing but how to produce a project, that is verification means building the right product is called as an verification. Validation means building the product as right is called as an validation. So in the validation consists of 4 requirement techniques are there: reviews, prototyping, test case and the automated analysis. So what is the reviews means, what is the systematic implementation can be used in the software is called as an requirement reviews. Then prototype means, already I am told, old concept can be implemented by using the new one is called as an prototyping. Test case generation means, generally implementation can be used by the test case. Scenario based problem statement can be used is called as an test cases. Automated consistency analysis means checking the consistency by the structured way is called as an automated consistency analysis. So these are the things for the requirement engineering. Thank you.